As female entrepreneurs, we rarely take time for ourselves to
Right.
recharge, and it's so much faster. It's like taking the lightning cord for the phone when you're with a group of like-minded women.
Women especially are social creatures. And let's face it, we go into our silos. A lot of them are solopreneurs. And this is really the only opportunity to be around like-minded women. I really think with the right intention and the right environment, you can take your business to a completely new level.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We wanted to pull back the curtains and share something with you that we are so excited about. It's the Big Bold Beach Retreat. Can you say that 3 times fast?
Don't ask me to do that on camera.
I'm so happy to be here with my business bestie, Lea Woodford. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh, Delane, so good to be here with you.
So if you're a woman that's building a business, you already know how easy it is to stay busy, but you sometimes feel like something's not quite right. Have you ever felt like that?
All the time, every day, 7 days a week.
So before we talk about the details, when women decide to step away and start saying yes to something else, when they start saying yes to themselves, they're usually not burned out. They may feel restless. What are some other things that you've noticed that our clients share?
You know, I feel like they are lost. They get stuck in the mundane and they're afraid to ask for help. That's one of the big things that I see. They don't have clarity to move forward.
Mhm.
I think clarity is one of the big issues. And when you aren't clear on things, that's when you get stuck.
Yeah, I think it's that moment when you realize you don't have to burn everything down, but you do need to take a pause and recalibrate so that your next best step is more meaningful.
Absolutely.
Mhm. So you work with a lot of women who are successful on paper, and so do I. What do you hear them saying that they're craving more of?
Community. Community is everything because let's face it, and I adore my husband, but I can't talk to him about this stuff. You know, he's running the jet charter company and I run a media company. We're in 2 different places. And I find that most of my clients are in the same place.
Mhm. I think they want things to feel cleaner and more simple and more aligned. They want their confidence back and they want to be able to trust their decisions again because so many times I think women see failures as not being lessons, but stopping points. And they're really just the point
That's
of
a good point.
recalibration, right?
I think so. And I think women, you know, instead of collaboration, so many of them look at, you know, others as competition. You know, I've
Mhm.
had more women say, God, you and Delane have the best relationship. How do you do that? It's just like we collaborate. There's no competition. And we like the same things, but we have a lot of the same values. And our drive is the same, which I think is really important when you have a collaboration
Yeah,
partner.
why do you think it is so hard for women to give themselves the permission to step away? And what changes do they really need to make?
I think a lot of it comes down to clarity. Who are you? Who do you serve? What problem do you fix? And really, why should people work with you? And defining what value you bring.
I found that we are really good at convincing ourselves that we will give ourselves the rest later, but that later never comes because there's always another bigger, bolder goal that's starting right at the heels of the first success. And without taking the time to really celebrate that win, what do you find happens in your client load?
I think with a lot of my clients, and I'm older than you, but we've been conditioned to take care of everybody else.
Mhm.
And we do. We take care of the husband, you know, the family, and we come last. And by the time it gets to us, we don't have the energy level left to do what we need to do for ourselves.
That's so true. And I was reflecting back. So our last retreat that we did together was
That
in the
was
mountains.
so fun.
And it was amazing. But when we were talking about doing a beach and the excitement of the group to think of going from mountain to beach, it really created a different kind of vibe and a completely different format with content. What do you think that the beach provides that the mountains did not?
You know what? There's just, first of all, I love where we're going. We're going back east on the beach. So we're not going to San Diego where you have to actually step over bodies to get to the beach. But it just gives you breath. You have air to breathe and freedom. I think it really comes from freedom. On a mountain, you're a little bit confined, but it's beautiful. And it was amazing, but I think all of us love the beach.
I feel like the mountain is more aspirational.
Yes.
It's like the sound of music and you're up there singing, the hills are alive, like we always do. But the beach feels like it's calming. It's water, it's calming of your nervous system. It's giving a chance to have background noise without it being something stressful.
Yes.
And just learning in those different environments, I think, touches many different senses.
I know, but think about it. What happens when you think about going to the beach? If you get a big grin on your face, and I don't think I've ever had a bad experience at the beach, ever.
Yeah, the only bad experience I've had is when I wasn't prepared for the beach and the bathing suit. So also it can help us with our weight loss goals until we get to the beach.
Well, I'm working on it already, Delane.
It's a forward movement. It's never a destination. It's a journey for sure. So when we're starting to think about the difference between a retreat and an event, I get a lot of questions like this, like maybe I'll just go to this one day event. It's less time. I don't have to take time away from work. Why would I want to take a couple of days or 3 days or 4 days or even extend my whole week to go to a retreat? What do you think the difference is?
Well, I like retreats because you're getting information, but you actually have time to implement and process. And studies have shown that group coaching is way more effective a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times for women. And I think, there's that peer coaching, but it's a chance to make new friends too.
It is definitely a community. And I feel like events give you ideas, but retreats give you decisions.
And potential power partners.
Yes, collaborations, power partners, and it really gives you an opportunity to solidify what you're going to do next rather than think about it and then have to go back and create the plan on your own. I know anytime I've been faced with leaving a conference or a one-day event and I'm like, okay, I've got all the tools to make this perfect plan. What happens? I go home and I put these perfect tools in the bottom of the filing cabinet and the plan never gets created.
I don't even know how many drawers I have full of old workbooks and notebooks I've taken from all these events and have never taken out again. They're filed away and forgotten.
Yes. And I think that the retreat really clarifies what you will be doing, what you'll be selling, who you'll be serving, and how are you going to do it so that when you leave, you'll not only have clarity in your messaging, but also you'll know that your offer is ready to be sold.
And I think that's important that we get to do that, a little role playing, and get some feedback, which before you put all this money into a course or something, having an audience, how magical is that to just kind of just do a little rehearsal and see if there is actually a market for what you want to sell.
Yes, and we have curated this schedule very specifically.
Yes.
So let's talk about day one. When the ladies arrive, obviously we'll start off with a welcome reception at the Tiffany Mansion. Can you talk about the Tiffany Mansion a little bit and how we found that?
Oh, I really do love this because we wanted to have a really intimate environment this time, but I love it because we got a pool, but if you sit in the pool, you can see the ocean. I mean, it's an oceanfront mansion, and it's Tiffany blue.
Yeah, and I think the thing that really solved it for me is it's the only hotel on a private beach and the only bed and breakfast on a private beach and the only hotel is the one that we have solidified for the retreat.
I know. I'm so excited about that. And it's within walking distance. I mean, you can leave the house or the hotel and walk right to the beach. How magical. You don't have to get into a car, rent a car to go to the beach because it's right there.
Yeah, I think that is amazing. So we do have this wonderful block of rooms at the hotel, and all attendees can simply walk to the mansion for the programming and the content, all of the immersive exercises that we're doing, and know that it's just going to be a short walk back if they need to spend some time alone in reflection, or if they want to start doing other activities when our downtimes are. So I think that was another big thing that we did really well. I'll give ourselves a pat on the back this time with scheduling the open times so that people don't feel rushed through content and overwhelming like they're taking an all day type of seminar that they never get out of the room. But there's movement opportunities. There's some special surprises for
There
the
are
morning
some,
rituals.
yes, there is. And one of the things that I love about working with you, and this is our second retreat together, and I've done retreats with other women, but I was really excited that after our first one, so many of them want, when do I sign up? Where do I sign up? They're coming back. And that's when you know that the facilitators have good chemistry and that the agenda is what people need. I think you and I work well together, but I think we both have our strengths. And, you have skills I don't have. You're a recovering therapist, for Christ's sake. So I really kind of like that we both have our strengths, but our drive is matched. We're equally yoked, even though it's different skill sets.
Yeah. And I love that we're jumping in right away and helping them get clear on their audience and their messaging. And what do you think comes immediately? I know what comes to mind for me immediately, and that is confidence. When people know who they're talking to, what they're talking about, what's going to be an easy offer to say yes to, then they can practice because they feel confident in what they're offering.
Well, and it's that old sales analogy, know your product. Again, I go back to who are you? Who do you serve? What problem do you fix? And really defining yourself from your competitors. Why should people work with you versus your competitor?
Exactly. And I always like to point out that our retreats are really important 3 components, which is 1 part education, 1 part connection, and 1 part rejuvenation. Because as female entrepreneurs, we rarely take time for ourselves to recharge. And it's so much faster. It's like taking the lightning cord for the phone when you're with a group of like-minded women. What do you think?
Yeah, well, and I think we're craving that right now. I think it happened before COVID. It came with the phones and then it came with social media. But women especially are social creatures. And let's face it, we go into our silos. A lot of them are solopreneurs. And this is really the only opportunity to be around like-minded women.
Yes. And then the goal is to leave lighter and not exhausted, like you've just received all of this heavy material that you've got to go and learn and reteach and implement on your own, but just to feel lighter, like there is a solution for me. And I've already started it before I even left the retreat.
Well, we have them actively participating in this because I don't know about you. I'm not a visual learner. I'm not audible. I've got to jump in and do it or I don't retain it. And we actually help our women, whether they're visual, audible, or like me, and they have to do it. What's your style?
So I think it's a combination. I like to see it and then I like to do it, but I'm not they always say women are auditory, but I am challenging that hypothesis.
That doesn't work for me, I can tell
I think
you.
we are actually visual as well. And then once we get a room of different types of business owners who are women in a room, I feel like there's this momentum that naturally starts creeping up and conversations go faster. Connections are made right away. Have you seen that happen too?
I have. And, when they come in, they're a certain way, the new ones, and they don't know what to think. But when they leave, you can see the transformation in their faces. They feel lighter, but brighter.
Yes. And let's face it, being an entrepreneur sometimes is really lonely and it can feel isolating. So when you get in a group of like-minded individuals, there's a power in being around women who are making intentional moves and doing things together as a group so that they can be accountability peers when they leave. Have you noticed that accountability part?
I have noticed that, but one of the things that I really love about, because we're biz besties and every couple of months we get together, but I think it's really important for women to have something to look forward to. Yes, they're going to learn something, they're going to meet partners, and we're going to work on their business, but just to get away. And I think women need to be taken out of their regular environment because you can't change things if you don't change things.
That is so true. And I think oftentimes we talk about goals and success metrics, but we don't put in celebratory metrics.
If you don't celebrate the little wins, You don't celebrate the big wins. And when you don't celebrate your little wins, you're cheating yourself out of that dopamine hit that you need to have otherwise. And we fly incredibly successful people around, and they're some of the most miserable people I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
You have to celebrate your wins, and life is a gift every day.
Yeah, embracing joy, knowing where your spark comes from. What's that old saying? If you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Well, you're still going to work, but it's going to be a lot more fun.
Exactly. I think that sounds great. So if a woman's listening right now and feeling the pull to join us, what would you want her to know?
I want them to know that it's a safe environment. I feel like, for me personally, and several of my clients, they've gone to retreats and they've gone to women's events and they haven't met their expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think safety is number one. It's a safe space. We're going to really help you grow your business. And I want them, it's going to be fun, but it's going to be safe.
I agree. And I think the one thing I would add to that is so many times we think, oh, I've got to add something, I've got to do more, I've got to work harder. But in reality, sometimes the most forward momentum comes from simplifying.
Simplifying is everything, but I think also sometimes to move forward, you have to take some things off your plate.
Mm-hmm.
But recognizing what those things are before you take everything off your plate.
Exactly. That goes all into that strategic mindset versus tactical activities. And I know we spend a lot of time on that because it's really important. Because if you don't do what's in your highest value source, you're not going to be making any money, which, you know, I'm all about making money.
I know. I love that about you. Own your worth. But
Yes.
I think the other thing too, I think there's something really special about a relaxed environment where, you know, you like everybody in the room, we're women, so we want things beautiful around us. And you can hear the ocean, you know, we'll have the doors open. Maybe we'll be out in the patio. Maybe we'll be on the beach. But it's an immersive environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think women really need that because we're so connected technology-wise right now.
I agree. And I think the one thing that everyone who owns a business knows is that it is a 24/7 situation. Doesn't mean you're necessarily working 24/7, but you are integrating your life and your work. It's never quite a balance. And I remember the first
That's
time.
a myth.
Yeah, exactly. I remember the first time we were talking about the concept of a luxury laptop lifestyle. And then again, I don't know what it is with us. We feel like we've got to start all of the words with the same letter and then say it fast, 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 luxury laptop lifestyle. And when we finally got that down, can you share a little bit about what that means to you?
You know, luxury laptop lifestyle. And I'm so blessed that I actually live this. It means that I can leave my office, take my laptop, and work from anywhere. You know, I live in Scottsdale primarily, but we have a mountaintop house on the top of a mountain, a couple of mountains away from Pikes Peak. And I can go up there and work, or I can go to the beach retreat and work. But I could be in Spain, I can be in Italy, next year Ireland.
Yes.
But you can work from anywhere. As long as I have Wi-Fi, a phone, and a laptop, I'm good to go.
I think that's a great point. And isn't that the goal? Doesn't entrepreneurship really lend itself toward freedom?
You know, it really does. And it's funny because I do have a part-time job, a consulting gig, 5 days a month. You know, and they pay me really well, but I feel really tethered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I love the laptop lifestyle freedom because it really does give you freedom.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a really excellent point. So anything else you'd like to add to a lady out there who owns a business? Maybe she's had some success, really not sure how she's going to replicate it, or what pieces she needs to put in place to make the next best goal made?
I really think that women especially, we hold things in too much, and you don't have to go it alone.
Mm-hmm.
And find your tribe, vibe with your tribe. And I really kind of like the tribe that we're building. I love the women that are returning. I'm excited about some of the new women that are coming. But I really think with the right intention and the right environment, you can take your business to a completely new level.
I agree. And I think it's so interesting the types of business owners that we've been attracting to this beach
Yes.
retreat. So we've got speakers, we've got coaches, we've got consultants, we've got attorneys, we've got estheticians.
I know.
Anyone that owns a business that doesn't have a tangible product on e-commerce, I feel like it's all in.
It is all in, but I like the fact that we have younger women, we have older women, we have some that are really socially savvy and some that are learning. And I think it's just the perfect mix.
I think so too. And that brings up a really great question of how many women do you think we'll have in total? I know we're always thinking we want to keep it in a very comfortable environment where everyone can have an opportunity. So originally we'd set the cap at 20, and I think we should stick to that.
I think so too. I think then it becomes an event.
Yes.
It's no longer a retreat if you go and eat. Because we've already did one and we had 10 people there and we probably could have gone to 20.
Yes.
But I like to beta test.
Yes.
And once we've built it, we can scale it. And I've noticed that there's a lot of people, a lot of women that are really excited about going to the beach.
I know. And
Me too.
I'm excited about that too. And then just being able to go to the beach with new friends, because when you're with new people in those small breakout peer groups, ideas flow differently.
They do. And imagine sitting out on the beach and doing these little, pod exercises with the ocean breeze and the laps waving in. I just feel like we all need to be disconnected and it'll make us really present.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of A/B testing, I know we do a lot of this.
Yes.
And the length of our retreats are specifically designed toward maximizing those three components, which is education, community, and rejuvenation. That's why we made it July 10th through 13th. It's just enough time where we can be away for a little bit, feel like we've learned something, have some things to implement, but not feel like the wheels are going to fall off the business car while we're gone.
Right.
So,
well, and the thing that I really love about this too is, these women are leaving their businesses and their families to come. So we have to make it worthwhile for them. And I know that this agenda is going to be so special. They're going to love it. And they're going to walk away with so much.
I agree. Well, thank you again for hopping in and talking about the retreat with me. I know we enjoyed talking about it offline, so it's a little different experience to pull back the curtains and share what we're thinking in our brains online.
So excited. I can't wait.
So if this conversation is resonating with you, please come and join us at the Big Bold Beach Retreat. It's July 10th through 13th, and it's a few days just to think clearly, connect deeply, and make bold decisions in a beautiful place. Details will be in the show notes below.